Wyatt Russell, which he was really representing us. He was the guy that was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's happening, man?
There was a lot of lens flares in this movie, which while I was watching it, I'm like, damn, he's taking a page out of J.J. Abrams' book.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mission Movie Reviews, Real Talk. I'm Barry Gaines.
I'm Jay Green.
And today we're going to speak about the new Spielberg film, Disclosure Day. Now, since Disclosure Day, just before I get into it, I went to see Disclosure Day at the Mann's Chinese Theater, which is now TCL, but it's always known as Mann's Chinese Theater. And let me tell you something. I was in there, and that is the only theater I have ever been to. And I've been to a lot of theaters. That's the only one I've been to where the sound and just the quality of the image makes you really appreciate cinema. I'm like, oh, just the ambience of that theater, because the theater's a classic. So the way they made it was more like maybe for like it's a theater, you know. So it has like a slight little echo to it, so it makes you feel like this grand happening, you know, in front of you. It sounds absolutely amazing. So if you ever in LA and you want to see a movie and just want to see how a movie really should sound and how it really should look, as opposed to what we have now with Regal and everyone else, well, they do a great job too. Go to that one. That really brings you back and say, damn, this is what cinema's about. Jesus. Yeah, we can't lose this. We can't lose this.
What did you steal?
Secrets.
This 79-year terror campaign of lies has to end.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world.
Got some things to say about it. Before I do, I want to see what man Justin has to say about it. Justin, you went to see it. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, so I said in my review that, like, initially I wasn't really that keen on the movie. Like, I'm going to see it because it's Spielberg and you know, the different actors that are in it. But the trailers never, like, hooked me. They were never like, oh, snap, I got to see that movie, right? So when I saw it, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I felt like that Steven Spielberg and John Williams collaboration magic was definitely present for sure. I like how the movie, it jumps kind of right into the action, and there's elements to the movie that deal with the alien tech, alien artifacts, if you will, things of that nature that are not fully explained. I don't mind that. Again, we're just kind of from the outside looking in, watching this journey, watching everything unfold. So I was digging that. Some of the shot composition, the way the movie looked was dope. Steven Spielberg, master of all that sort of stuff, right? He's one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT. There was a lot of lens flares in this movie, which while I was watching it, I'm like, damn, he's taking a page out of J.J. Abrams' book, which I'm not mad at because I definitely I'm a fan of the look and aesthetic of like a J.J. Abrams, a Michael Bay, a Tony Scott, you know, that type of swag. So I was definitely feeling that. Story was pretty simple. It was, we got this information, we're trying to get it out. The trailer basically told you the whole movie. So and anything we say is not really a spoiler, you know, other than some stuff at the end, which we won't say. But for the most part, it's literally just like, we got to get this information from point A to point B. So that being said, you know, it was what it was. But again, I still had a fun time with it. Yeah. So I would say it's worthy of a trip to the theater if you're a fan of Spielberg. If you want to see a fun adventure about disclosing information, check it out.
Yeah, you want that tip? Absolutely. Well, let me start off by saying, number one, Spielberg to me is the greatest of all time. Now, I'm personally a James Cameron fan. He's number one in my book. But when I look at overall, the greatest of all time to me is Spielberg. So everything he does, I'm going to go see no matter what. I felt the same way you did when I saw the trailer, Justin. I was not excited. There was nothing pulling me in. I just went to see it because it was Spielberg. If Spielberg's name wasn't on it, I probably would have just took my time to see it. But I went to see it. When I sat down and it came on, first 20 minutes, whatever, I'm like, okay, this may go someplace. You know, you had the John Williams theme in the back going on, you know, it has music going that kind of brings you in, and it makes you feel like the classic Spielberg movies, you know. It had this pace of just like, It's a slower pace at some points, but it's moving along. All in all, to me, I did not like the movie at all. I thought the movie was convoluted with a lot of shit that you didn't need it. It was too narrow-minded with the characters and what the aliens were about. Everything took place pretty much in a little area. When they say a space invasion is coming down, it's a space invasion. It's a world problem. You know what I mean? So you want to see at least a little bit of this global effect somewhere along the line. It was never like that. You had a few characters in there that really hit out the park. Really, Emily Blunt hit it out the park. I think her acting was phenomenal. I give him that. But all in all, as good as she was, as good as everybody was, Coleman Domingo, Josh O'Connor, everyone, even Wyatt Russell, which he was really representing us. He was the guy that was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's happening? But he represented us. And he was kind of funny. I did like his part. But to me, I didn't care about anybody. They didn't really get into anyone's past as much as you needed them to for you to be pulled into their character. So when something happens, you felt something. I didn't feel anything for anybody. The only one probably is Emily Blunt a little bit with that. And then some things look like as if they were put together because, hey, it will look cooler. But when you think about it overall, when you look at the movie, guys, it's today's age. We're today. There's some things you didn't have to. You could just throw it on YouTube. You could have put it on your phone. You could have put it on social network. You could put it in a lot of places. And they made you feel like it was only one spot you had to put it on, and it was legacy news. I'm a big legacy news guy. I love legacy news too, but I also love new news. And I think that they just kind of steered away from the obvious when it came to how you're going to showcase the world this secret that everyone needs to see. And when I was done with the movie and it was over, I was just like, okay, this is just to me. I thought that this was on the list of Spielberg's flops. I really did. I didn't, like I said, if you were to see the movie for any reason, for me, see the end. I'll say see the movie for the end. I think the last 15 minutes to me was very intriguing. What he was showing, what was happening, how people were being affected by it, all this stuff, But like just the lead up to it, some of the jokes would look like they was thrown in there. They didn't land. They were trying, and it was obvious, And that's one thing I have to express this to everybody. If you're a filmmaker or anything like that, you don't have to have jokes, okay? You don't have to have levity. Have the levity come organically because maybe a situation kind of calls for it and it kind of throws it in. Just don't throw it in because you feel like, oh, it's too serious. Fine, it's too serious. If it's too serious, then leave. You know what I mean? Because I can show you plenty of movies that were dead serious and the levity was so narrow that it was no need for it. I mean, look at Saving Private Ryan. Look at Schindler's List. I mean, we could go on and on. Great movies did not need levity. There was no reason for it. So a movie like this, there was moments where it was like, okay, you're getting a little serious, and suddenly they dropped in the joke a little, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? Why? Are you afraid our feelings are going to hurt? Like, you got to stop that, Hollywood. Anyone out there who thinks that when they make their own film, stop that. Let it come organically. Just tell the fucking story. But when I saw this, anyway, for me, all in all, I thought the movie was not good. I think it's up there with Hook, up there with AI for Spielberg. It's just one of those that just did not land for me at all. And I guess it was too narrow. And I'm saying to myself, now listen, we're not spoiling, but I am going to give you a little nugget before we close this out. Just two people the aliens came for? That took me out of it. Just two? And it's kind of like, those two? And it's like, there's no one else. The entire planet. And on top of that, you have Emily Blunt speaking other languages. Those other languages, cultures, didn't experience this, but they picked you? I'm like, yeah, okay. That threw me right out of it. I'm like, okay, stop. I say if it's one person, but anyway. So for my review, I didn't really thought it was a flop. I thought it was not good at all for me. There was moments where I liked. The star of the show is Emily Blunt. She killed it. I think, if anything, see it for that, and also see it for the last 15 minutes of the movie. I thought that was really intriguing for me. What do you think, Jay?
I will say So again, movies are all experiential events. So when I'm leaving the theater, I felt like that, how I felt about it, right? But when you're watching a movie, the cool thing about, reading a book multiple times or a comic book or watching a movie multiple times or a show is that it can grow with you, or you can also kind of see some of those holes from before. So like Barry said, all is true what he said. And then from my perspective, all is true, for what I say. But at the same time, as I've been listening to other people after I put out my information and how I feel about it, I was listening to Robert Meyer Burnett, and he was talking about like all this conversation of the UAP, right? Talk and all these things where we want this disclosure. He's been following Steven Spielberg for years. He's into like aliens and all that type of stuff. So you could think that based on how they marketed the film and how secretive it was and whatnot, and then with Steven Spielberg and what he can do, what he can get done, a movie where they actually talked more about that type of stuff in a serious way, like you're talking about, would have been a better film that would have grown over time and could have been something to really open up people's minds. Now, the way that you felt about the last 15 minutes being more intriguing, I kind of liked earlier in the film how they weren't really showcasing exactly what some of these abilities were or whatever, and they kind of just like let it unfold the way that it did.
Yeah.
But the last portion of the movie, I did feel an emotional weight to it in the way that certain people were responding. But again, that's John Williams' score. That's some of the direction and then the acting. It's not necessarily because the movie made me feel that. As I look back, it's like just all those elements put together made me feel like, oh man, I hope we all, you know what I'm saying? But then I will say, for anyone who's seen the movie, there is a portion at the end when I'm like, all right, man, you're going a little too far with this thing. You know what I'm saying? At the very end, this. And everyone's just chilling like, huh, what's he going to say? You know what I'm saying? I was
it was like almost like everything settled. Like everything was accepted. It was just like, whoa. This is accepted just like that. There's no one in the back somewhere screaming.
Think about this. In Wicked, you see how they acted with Elphaba.
Yeah.
She green, but she's still a person who communicate normal. In the end of this movie, stuff happens, and they're all like, all right, it's all good.
We could do this. Like, what?
So,
what? Exactly. So everyone out there, what do you think about Disclosure Day? Are you going to see it? Have you seen it? And if you've seen it, what do you think? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, we'll see you on our next Mission Movie Reviews Real Talk, guys. Love you guys. Peace.
Deuce.